Hello, welcome back to Invest In. My name is Logan, and welcome to our short term rental log cabin. Today, I'm here for a health inspection. Nothing wrong, just our annual health inspection through the county here in Wisconsin. What I'm going to do today is take you on a tour of how I get ready for our annual health inspection, how our cleaners get us ready for our annual health inspection, and ultimately, everything that you need to look for to make sure that you're not going to get dinged when you have your health inspection. So let's take a tour. So, one of the first things that I do in general is just to take a walk around. And here I'm looking for pretty much anything dirty, anything messy. The health department doesn't particularly care, about decorations or anything like that, but they do want to make sure that surfaces are clean and clear. They want to make sure that it's not going to be contamination risk. There's no, health concerns with your overall cleanliness. So make sure to check for pet hair, make sure to check for food crumbs, things that might otherwise invite pests or just in general cause environment that is less than clean. The next thing that we check for are the windows. And again, you might be thinking, what about the windows? Well, every window needs to have a lock. Every window needs to have a screen if it opens. And it's hard to see, there are screens on these windows. These storm windows are new. We had these put in. Basically, what the concern is here is around bugs. If pests and bugs are able to get in, they want to make sure that every window can lock up tight. And if it's possible to open, which these are, that they have a screen to keep bugs out and fresh air in if people decide to open the windows. But besides the windows, you also want to double check your locks and make sure that your locks are functioning. It's a safety and security type inspection, and they do care to know if every door has a lock and if that lock the guests can operate or can't operate. It's just a simple thing, but something else to check for. Another thing to check for are smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms. Now, this requirement may be different depending on where you are, but what they'll want to do is to test. Once the smoke alarm test has been completed, the carbon monoxide alarm will also be tested. In this case, it's one in the same machine. But they'll want to make sure that those are working correctly everywhere that they're supposed to be. So here, we're required to have one in every bedroom. We also need to have one next to any fuel burning appliance. So we have one here in the kitchen next to the stove. So make sure that the stove and everything is clean and clear and free of debris, but also make sure that your smoke alarm, carbon monoxide alarm placement is also up to standards for your county. When it comes to the bedroom, it's important that the bed is made with this, what they call a pullback. The sheets and the blanket have been pulled back so that guests can pull into the bed without needing to worry about, has the blanket been washed, what is the level of cleanliness on everything else. That hospitality fold back is a hard requirement that everybody checks when they come to make sure that the beds are safe, along with making sure that when pillows are in use, they should have a zippered pillow protector or, otherwise removable pillow protector to make sure that they can be easily cleaned and any guest, drool or other bodily fluids are not going to get on the pillow, that it's easy enough to launder them. When it comes to water, they may want to take a water sample especially if you're on well water, which we are. So our county health inspector, when they come, they bring with them a sample bottle and collect a water sample, ideally from a faucet that does not have a screen on it. In this case, ours does, so they usually take our sample directly from the well pump spigot. They're not testing to see if it's hard or soft water. They're just testing to make sure that it's safe enough, that the nitrates are where they're supposed to be, bacteria, etc. Now, if you're on city water, they probably do not need to do this test, but definitely make sure and be prepared if they do. They will also check to make sure that you're providing soap and, some way to wash dishes. We have hand soap and a dishwasher. We also have dishwasher tablets here, and also that we're providing a way for guests to sanitize their dishes. There's signage that's required saying that the dishes in this rental have not been sanitized. If you're going to use them, we recommend that you sanitize the dishes. Does everybody do it? I can't know that, but we are required to provide it. Just like if you're, going to a restaurant, the expectation is that they will wash, rinse, and sanitize their dishes. So guests here need to have the opportunity to wash, rinse, and sanitize their dishes. The next thing that the health inspector will check for is that if you're providing guests with any kind of coffee, tea, anything in the kitchen, anything that they could consume, it should be single use. Single use creamers, single use hot chocolate, no bulk bags of coffee. Now, as you can see, we do provide coffee filters and we do provide an automatic drip coffee maker along with a teapot, etc., but we don't provide anything in bulk. They'll check to make sure, and they might ask you if you're providing anything in bulk, and we say no. They're invited to bring their own coffee and tea if they prefer it that way, or they're welcome to help themselves to what we provide, which again is single use. Similarly, with the single use, you want to make sure that you're not leaving any food behind from guest to guest. There should be no butter in the fridge. There should be no leftover, anything. Occasionally, some baking soda in the back, if it's in one of the odor absorbency boxes, is fine, or sealed bottles of water, etc. If you want to provide, again, that would be a single use, one-time open beverage. That's your call, but in general, nothing should be left in the fridge or the freezer. We have an ice pack down here. Nothing should be left that's able to get somebody sick. In the bathroom, there's one primary thing to check besides general cleanliness, and that's making sure that any soap, shampoo, body wash, conditioner, etc., if it's provided for guests, it should be in a dispenser, which is locked. These here have a tamper-proof lock that requires a special key to open, so our cleaners fill them for us. Alternatively, some hosts will choose to provide single-use shampoo, single-use soap. That's also fine as long as it's tamper-proof. So again, a one-time use bottle of shampoo serves the same purpose here as our locked dispenser of shampoo. So we can buy in bulk, save a little bit of money, save the planet, not with all the single-use plastics, and also accomplish our safety goals. This is very different from state to state, county to county, but we are required to display basically room rate cards. Now, as you can see, we're not charging for single or double occupancy room. We're charging for the entire cabin or cottage. And basically, if your rate varies like we do, we have variable pricing. Just list the maximum rate, the rate that it should never exceed. This is just for guest transparency. It, to be honest, is more of a formality, but it is still something on the inspection list. Don't forget those smoke alarms. In this case, because this is the loft of our cabin, we are quite a ways up. There's a nice staircase that they always inspect to make sure that handrails are present. We installed this nice cable railing to make sure that everything is safe. Nobody can fall through, fall out. They will also like to inspect to see that we have a fire ladder, just in case, to provide a secondary means of escape besides the staircase if somebody did need to exit out the window. The health inspector may also check that areas here, like our basement, are clearly marked, that they're not for guest use. There's a lock to keep guests out, because anything down there could be dangerous or could be, a potential health concern. The health inspector will need to go down there, in our case, to verify the smoke alarm, the carbon monoxide, etc. But they want to make sure that guests can only access areas that they have inspected and are safe. Additionally, the inspector will want to make sure that guests have someplace safe and sanitary to dispose of their trash. In our case, right on our driveway, we have our recycling and our trash available. And lastly, guests will need to not have access to your septic tank. The health inspector will want to make sure that that has been properly secured. In our case, it's cement slab sealed, along with a chain and padlock to keep any nosy guests out. So there you have it. That was everything that we have done, that we double checked and made sure to prepare for our annual county health inspection. Hopefully, if you were able to follow along and take some notes, I'm glad you got some value, hopefully. If so, can you leave me a thank you in the comments, or at least some advice on how to make the next video better? I want this community to grow, and hopefully you can help somebody else along the way. Check out one of the other videos recommended for you here. We've got a lot of great Airbnb tips and tricks. I'll see you in the next one.